Hello and welcome to On the Move. This is Dr. Brandis Montgomery, and I am the owner and physical therapist of On the Move Massage and Physical Therapy. And I am here today to talk to you about the difference between cash-based and insurance-based physical therapy and what that means, what that looks like, what are the benefits of one versus the other, and just educate you a little bit on why I went cash pay only in my practice to serve each of you. So the first thing is that, as you may already know, you're paying a premium to your insurance company to have insurance cover you for your medical needs. Typically, that premium is anywhere between $100 a month to $600 to $1,000 a month that you're paying just to have the insurance in your possession. After you pay your premiums monthly, there's a deductible that goes along with each plan. Everyone's different depending upon the plan that you chose for you and your family. And again, can be anywhere from, I think the least I've seen these days is probably $2,000, $2,500, all the way up to $6,000, $10,000, $15,000 for a deductible. And your deductible is generally just what you're going to pay in order to get your insurance to kick in. So you're paying them a monthly premium. That doesn't do anything for your insurance, just lets you have it. Then you pay a deductible when you've met your deductible. Let's say your deductible is $3,000. Every time you go to the doctor, every time you go to physical therapy, every time you go to any medical anything, you will pay out of pocket cash and it goes towards your deductible. Once you have met your deductible, if it's $3,000, you move on to what is called out of pocket. Typically, in your out-of-pocket phase, that's going to be anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000. And during that phase, your insurance is covering a percentage of your care. So you may get 70-30, where your insurance covers 70%, you cover 30, 80-20, and so on. So up until you meet that next wall there. So let's say that your out-of-pocket is $5,000. So you go to the doctor, you go to physical therapy, you go to all your medical visits, and anything that you owe, you will pay, let's say it's 30% and your insurance pays 70%, up to $5,000. Once you've met $5,000 of out of pocket, typically your insurance will cover 100%. If not 100%, it's some percentage that you would know of. So all of this I say to give you a basis as to what you need to know about your insurance going into physical therapy. Because a lot of times your physical therapy appointments, when you put them through insurance, will be anywhere from $100 to $500, depending on your insurance and depending on what was billed for you that day. And if you can imagine, and you have a $3,000 deductible, you may not meet your deductible by going to physical therapy. If you tend to be a healthy individual like myself, I never meet my deductible. So anytime I would be going to physical therapy, I'd be paying out of pocket, and you usually come up with an agreed upon amount that you can afford until you've paid off your bill with them, and that goes towards your deductible. But if you aren't going to be needing any other medical care this year, then you just pay the cash price basically towards the physical therapy, and then you go into the clinic and receive your physical therapy services. If you are working in a cash-based practitioner like myself, you pay anywhere from probably $100, $125 a visit cash to the physical therapist, or up to, I've seen $300 a visit. That's not really that common at least around me, but I have seen it in the nation elsewhere. So if you look at it and comparing those two prices, you can see how having your insurance pay for your physical therapy is not necessarily going to give you a huge benefit unless you're anticipating meeting your deductible to help you with other medical expenses in the year. And then another situation with your physical therapy in a insurance-based versus a cash-based practice would be when you are in a clinic, and to no fault of their own, this is just how you have to run a clinic when you're going through insurances in order to make money, pay your staff, pay your insurances, and all the things. you will typically be one of 2, 3, 4, or 5 patients being seen by the same physical therapist at any given time. Very rarely are you one-on-one. There are clinics that are going towards that model a little bit, but most of them are cash-based because it's hard to see a person one-on-one and make enough money because of insurance reimbursements. So when you go and you are paying the practice your deductible every time you go to physical therapy, and then you are getting hands-on one-on-one attention from your physical therapist for 15 minutes out of the hour that you're there, you can see how that might not be beneficial, or it might take you a little longer to get better because you're not getting the one-on-one attention that you need to progress. So that is another reason why I went cash-based, because I don't have to see 5 people at one time in order to make enough money, because any money that you pay me is going to me and my business, not to insurance for them to take a chunk, and then for me to pay a facility, and then for me to pay my staff, and then for me to pay all the other overhead things that you might have. When it's cash-based, it's just me and my practice. I come to you. It is me and you one-on-one for that entire hour. My hands working with you, working on you, helping facilitate motion and progress each visit. So as you can see, you should, in fact, progress quicker as long as you are participating and doing your part than you would going into a insurance-based clinic. So those are 2 of the biggest reasons why I do not take insurances. The insurance companies typically limit how many visits you're allowed to have a year as well. So on a good plan, you might get 20 a year. Very rarely, though, I see unlimited visits. Almost every insurance plan these days is doing an authorization, so they determine how many visits they give you based off of your evaluation that the physical therapist does. And that could be anywhere from 2 or 3 visits to 20 visits, and then you have to have authorization again. There's lots of things that go into that behind the scenes to make that happen, but there's almost always some sort of authorization period where the insurance gets to determine how many visits you get of physical therapy. When you work with a cash-based physical therapist, I determine how many visits I think you need to get better, and I can change that as we go along. So if I think you're progressing quicker, we will decrease how many visits you need. And if we get towards that end where we're like, okay, we're progressing, but we're not quite there, we can always add sessions to meet your goals. And we're not limited by anyone telling me otherwise. And on the other end of that, not only how many visits do they tell me I can use for physical therapy, but some insurances will tell you what you can bill and what you can do with that person. So they may not cover certain aspects of care, or they may not cover certain diagnoses. Most of them do not cover functional training. So if you don't have pain associated with your diagnosis or whatever's going on, then it is not considered functional, and therefore they're not going to cover your care. When you work with a cash-based physical therapist like myself, I can see whether you're hurting or not. You could just have a limitation in range of motion, or maybe you have a weakness that's limiting you from performing a certain activity that you want to do better. Or maybe I work with the military, so maybe in their case, they want to be able to do pull-ups effectively for their physical performance tests that they have to do. And they don't know how to get to where they can do pull-ups. So we can work together one-on-one. I can show them some exercises. We can work together to get different muscles facilitating and working like they're supposed to help you with that activity. Insurance is not going to cover something like that. It's not considered functional for you to be able to do a pull-up. They don't care that you can or cannot. So same thing with sports activities. Those are typically not covered by insurance unless you are also limited in something functionally, like running to catch the bus or running because you're being chased, those types of things. So it really puts a limitation on who I can treat and people that could benefit from my services for being a specialist in movement and helping people to progress in a training area and a sport and an activity that they want to get back to, even if they don't have a pain associated with it. Lastly, I sort of mentioned here that physical therapists are specialists in movement. We have a doctorate in our degree, so we are doctors in the field of motion, movement, knowing how our body moves and how our body works together to create motion, to create activity, to lift things, to push things, to pull things. And working with a physical therapist one-on-one is highly beneficial in order to get your goals met and in order to progress to the point where you don't need me anymore. I want to get to a place where you're independent and where you know what it is that you have to do to either keep your pain gone, or if you're not having pain, to stay in that place of strength or motion or mobility that you need in order to complete the activities that are your goals. Working with a doctor of physical therapy is definitely beneficial and highly recommended. And whether that does mean that you're going to go in network with your insurance and go to a clinic, or you would prefer to be seen one-on-one, I am mobile and I come to your home, so there's also that extra added benefit for convenience and privacy, of course. So if you are looking for physical therapy, if you have more questions about using your insurance, not using your insurance, what does that look like, or how can you go about it, please reach out and let me know, and ask any questions below. Of course, if you've got them, I can help with that too. I hope everyone is doing well and enjoying this beautiful fall weather, and I hope you learned something today and can use it in the future. Have a great day.